Hi, everyone. We do this every time. Happy Monday. We're so happy that the Indie's finally over. We live in Main Beach at the Gold Coast, and it's just been like these crazy ass loud cars every day. And we're not really into Indie. Well, I used to be, back in the day when I used to get shit faced and take heaps of drugs. Obviously, I don't do that anymore. Yeah. So we don't really get into the Indie. So it's nice and quiet again. So instead of setting, you're probably looking at the title of this and thinking, oh, what are they talking about? Instead of setting goals, you should set standards. And I guess what sort of triggered me or triggered me thinking about this is, I was on Instagram posting some video or whatever I was doing on Instagram, and some fitness model thing, like it was a fitness model talking about how, she thinks that you should set a goal of a photo shoot or a certain body fat, percentage and, really work towards that. And I actually really used to believe in that, and that you should set these goals and have something that really forced you to commit and work towards it. And, I actually did a couple of comps myself. And while it did force me to stick to what I was doing, at the end of it, I rebounded massively because it was totally unsustainable. And I had to diet really hard to get lean because it wasn't something that I lived all year round. And, obviously getting really lean is actually quite unsustainable too. And I think actually quite unreal. Oh, here we go. Great. Got the photos up.
Here's one
This is when I did. This is when I dieted, because back then, I was right into it, and I needed an excuse to restrict. I thought, oh, this will be a good challenge. And I usually sat at about 62 kilos, and I dieted down to 55 kilos, and I was like a stick. And I remember my mum saying to me, oh, Kitty, you look anorexic. And I was actually happy that she said that, which is, that gives you an understanding of where my headspace was at back then. And, I did that. Then I did another one because I couldn't sustain it. And I think, there's so many, I think that, when you set goals like that and you're not setting standards for yourself, that's what gets you into trouble. And this is a good example of what we're trying to. I'm probably going around in circles. I might hand over to Craig in a second, but I'm pretty hungry. My blood sugar's a bit low, and it's nearly dinner time. But I need to get some professional photos done for our business, for our marketing, because a lot of the time I just take photos and use, the good old bathroom selfie or the mirror selfie. And, it's time to get some professional ones done that just look a little bit better, get some with the deadlifts and the dumbbells. And so I found a guy, and he's available in November. And so before the photo shoot, all we've done to just so I can get a little bit leaner is I've just tightened my diet up, and I'm just tracking everything, because usually I don't track so strictly. And every now and then I'll have a drink or a cocktail, so I'm just having no alcohol. And all Craig's done has adjusted my program, because, the last few months it's been quite sort of powerlifting strength specific. So he's just adjusted my program, and I'm just doing a bit more work over 3 days. And when's the photo shoot? I think it's at the end of November, just before our event. I will be quite lean. I can already see in a week and a half. I think it's been a week and a half of tightening up my diet, maybe a week and a half. Yeah. Already I am leaning up. Hey, Craig, you already see it. My abs.
I think you're already down over a kilo or something.
Yeah. So it's just, it just shows you that
a little bit too much, actually.
Yeah. He's like, I think you probably better up your food a bit. Because it just probably shows how much more I was eating before when I wasn't tracking properly. But because I have such a good foundation, and I am so strong, and I eat so much food just normally, when I tighten everything up and just do a little bit of extra work, I'm not going and running on the treadmill or do anything stupid like that, it's so easy for me to get leaner. And I think that that's where women go wrong, is that they set themselves these goals or unrealistic goals, when instead they should be setting themselves standards and thinking about the person that they want to become. So it's funny, one of the girls in our program, she said, oh, and not that I'm not totally against, you shouldn't set yourself strength goals, but she said, she's done a lot of work repairing her metabolism. She's got Hashimoto's, and she reached out and said, oh, I'm back into my training now and feeling really good. And you know, I probably need a goal. And I was like, well, why do you need a goal? Like, you know, and I was the same way, you know, when I started sort of doing a bit more powerlifting specific training again, I was like, always like, oh, fuck, I've got to deadlift 200 again. I've got to go and compete. And then I thought, why? Why shouldn't I just show up every single session and apply myself and try and get stronger? Like what's going to change when I hit a 100K bench or I hit a 200K deadlift? Nothing. It's going to be the same. So instead of, you know, going, oh, I have to hit those goals, I just ask myself, well, who is who is the person I want to become? Well, I want to be someone who's strong. I want to be someone who leads by example. You know, because how can I ask all the women in our program to do something that I'm not doing myself? I want to be the one that shows up and does all my stability exercises and my breathing and bracing so that I can be a real fucking master at squatting and deadlifting and benching. And, you know, if you do that, you will get stronger and you will look like you want to look. So instead of setting yourself goals, you should set yourself standards, and probably Craig can elaborate a bit more.
Yeah, well, I think furthermore on, you know, creating the standards, I think, you know, the best way to kind of sum it up is to, you know, kind of use that that catchphrase of, you know, if you focus on results, nothing changes, but if you focus on change, you'll see the results. I think people get so fixated on the end result of what ultimately, you know, they want to look like, usually in most cases, and what they want to become, but are not focusing on all the things that's going to be required of them in order to get to that result, and all the things they're going to have to give up and potentially sacrifice or change or, you know, stop doing. Like, there's just so many things that kind of go into that. So it has to kind of start, you know, more on a linear trajectory of just going, okay, I'm just going to start here. I'm going to make this change, and I'm going to make this change, and I'm going to make this change, and I'm going to make this change. And you continue to do that, and you refine that process, you refine those strategies of how it allows you to be consistent and continually implementing those things on a week to week, month to month basis. And that's ultimately what's going to get you results. Because you've got to remember, the results are just a reflection of everything you've been doing. So if the strategy you're employing around nutrition and training doesn't allow you to stick to it, well, it's fucking useless. It doesn't matter how good it is or which amazing, you know, fitness model or whatever gave it to you. Like, if you can't actually do it, then it's useless. So everything you got to do has got to be about sustainability, and it's got to be about in enjoying it. And then after that point, you can start going down the rabbit hole a little bit more and making specific changes and doing little things. But, you know, I think it's really, really important for people not to put the horse before the cart. And it's just like, you just got to focus on the bare basics. And that always starts with behavior and lifestyle changes. You know, it might be you start all of a sudden, you know, per week, you just go, I'm going to do my shopping on a Sunday morning because I'm always available on Sunday. I don't work on Sundays, you know. I'm always going to do my shopping then, and I'm always going to work out my food that I'm going to plan for the week, and I'm going to go, and once I've done that, I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to come home, I'm going to prep it. I'm going to, you know, like, you're just going to do these little things. Now, you know, what strategy you employ, there's no right or wrong answer, but at the end of the day, if you can't stick to it, well, it's not the right one. Like, it's just, it literally is as simple as that, you know. And I think sometimes when it comes to goals, it's kind of like, you know, what's the best macros I should have? You know, how much should my protein carbs be? You know, should I have a little bit higher? And I'm like, you're asking all the wrong questions. All of that stuff is completely fucking irrelevant most of the time. Like, even when you start getting down to the nitty gritty, it doesn't. Well, I mean, yeah, there are some considerations, but for the vast majority of people that we would be talking to here, it's not going to make a lot of difference. So it's kind of like, it's asking those things about, you know, why are you embarking on this journey? Why is it that you want to actually make these changes? And then what are you prepared to give up in order to get there? If it's not a 10 out of 10, don't bother. Because we get people in our program who go, yeah, 10 out of 10, man, I fucking want this so bad, and they still don't do it. So unless you're at least a 10, if you say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, yeah, I could probably do it. Or, yeah, no, it's, you know, it's something I've been working for, and I think I'd really like to be able to do that. It's like, you're not serious. You're not serious. And if that is your attitude, that's fine. You just need to just go, well, how about you focus on implementing one thing first? Let's just focus on your nutrition. You know, it's just like, or let's just focus on you getting to the gym 2 to 3 times a week. You know, it's just little things. It's like, do it for 2 weeks and see if it was sustainable. See if you enjoyed it. Yes, cool. All right. Now make it a little bit more intense. You know, add in an extra day training, or, you know, start getting a bit more, excuse me, specific with your food, that sort of thing. So it just has to come back to you, ideally understand why it is that you want to kind of go on this journey, and then understand for you to actually do this properly, that it's just going to require a much deeper discussion around the things that you are actually prepared to do. So to give you an example, on the weekend, I had my old boy's 70th birthday, and we went there, went out to lunch. It was all really, really nice. And he's my stepdad. His granddaughter, she's 20, I think 2021, something like that, I think. And she had her boyfriend there, and he's like into the gym and whatever. And she came up and she approached me and she was like, my partner really, he really wants to get bigger and he wants to put on heaps of muscle. You guys do plans and stuff like that. And I was just like, no, we only work with women. And it could have been very much a case of like, I could have sat there and kind of, entertained this, going, yeah, we could do plans, we could do this and whatever. But like, I knew like just from observation, and it might be a little bit judgmental. I probably put my foot in it by talking about this, but I just casually watched what he was doing. And it was just like, we were there for an hour and he'd already downed about probably 6 beers. And was just like hoeing in the food and eating all the wrong stuff. And it was just like, yeah, look, absolutely everyone can change, but just understand the perception at this stage and age and different things like that. I was like, yeah, like that's going to be a deeper discussion. Like me sitting here giving him this plan, it's just like, it's very unlikely he's going to do it. Because at the end of the day, people would just go, oh yeah, hey, you guys do like nutrition and stuff. I just want to, lose some fat and whatever. And I'm like, well, fuck off and go and do Weight Watchers or something. Like, don't talk to me about it. Like, it's just because I understand there's just a far deeper discussion, and the language that people use around it is generally quite a bit indication around how serious they really are. And again, it's just always comes back to that standards. You can just ask a few questions. It's like, oh, well, what are you doing now? Nothing. Cool. Oh, what do you want to do? Oh, I just want to lose like 10 kilos. Would you want to lose 10 kilos or do you want to lose more? Is it? Oh, yeah, about 10 kilos. Like, it's like people that they can't even articulate what they want. It's kind of like this. Yeah, it'd be really nice if I could lose 10 kilos, but I really don't want to do much for it. It's no different to me. Like, I'm a hack guitar player at best, but I'd love to be able to play, guitar like Rob Flynn, or not that anyone knows who that is, like some of my great metal heroes. But the reality is, I'm just not prepared to play the guitar for 6 to 8 hours a day to be able to be as good as what they are. So I have to accept the fact that I'm a mediocre guitar player, and that's totally fine because that's the work that I'm prepared to do on it. But that's the standard that I'm setting myself. I can pick it up and I can play stuff, and I'm happy with that. That's totally cool. But for me to go to another level, it's going to require time and sacrifice and practice and time management and priority and et cetera, et cetera. So all of that stuff, it comes exactly about coming back to, health and, body recomposition goals is just going, well, what is it that I want? Why exactly do I want it? And what am I prepared to give up to actually get there? And, that's, I guess the whole point of what we're saying is that, you need to put standards in place and understand that, and don't ever rely on things like motivation and stuff, because that's a load of shit. Motivation's a fleeting feeling. It'll come and go depending on how you're feeling in your life. If you're having a shit day at work and your boss has been a prick, and your partner's been a pain in the ass and the kids are being crazy and stuff, it's like, man, you don't want to go to the gym. You're like, fuck that. I just want to go home and do whatever. And I'm guilty of that. Kitty's guilty. Everyone's guilty of it, right? Like, it's motivation is just, it goes up and down depending on what's happening in your life. But when you set standards and you just go, no, the standard is I train minimum, 3 times a week. And my standard is I always prepare my food. And the standard is I always make sure that I've eaten all my food by the end of the day. The standard is I always aim to get 8 hours of sleep a night. I always make sure I'm in bed and close to sleep by 9:30. Like they're standards that I won't compromise on. So I think when you start taking that kind of approach and you kind of see the result that you would get from that, it then becomes very easy to kind of go, I could see the big picture. I could see why Craig constantly crap on about the long game. You got to play the long game. Like, how long is it going to take? I don't know. It's kind of the wrong question to ask, but it's just going to take you a while, because it's like implementing, it's changing your behavior and your lifestyle and all these things that are potentially being ingrained for years and years and years. I mean, it's it's no
takes a long
different.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
it,
And it's that constant, if you're setting these goals of, I've got to get this body by this date, it's like, well, and you're restricting instead of making better choices and, building up your metabolism and getting stronger, you'll always be stuck
yeah.
on that merry-go-round. Always. It's
Yeah.
interesting. I was talking to a friend of ours, Shelley. She actually worked for us for I don't know how long she worked for us. She did our nutrition program way back when, and then she did some coaching in our gym. And she lives on the north side now. She just does some work for herself. She's awesome. I love Shelley. And her and I were just talking about how she went away on holidays. And she's in such a good space now with her food. I remember when I very first met her, she has come so far now. And we were both talking about clients, and she was saying how, she goes on holidays now and she's the same weight as when she gets back, as when she left. And, I am the same. I used to go on holidays and I'd drink so much piss and drink so much shit, eat so much shit food. I'd come back, I'd be like 2 or 3 kilos heavier, sometimes 5. But now, because, I'm not afraid of food anymore, I eat to fuel my body, I binge eat anymore, I'm strong, same with Shelley. It's like, that doesn't happen, but that's taken us time. She worked for us, it would have been over 2 years ago, probably now.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Yeah. And it's been probably 4 years for me. I was saying to her to get to this space. So, but ask yourself this, if you keep doing the same thing, where are you going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? You'll still be stuck on the merry-go-round. So isn't it better to do it and be focused and learn how to invest in learning how to lift and eat and fuel your body? And yes, initially it is harder because it's change. Any change is hard, and you're going to fight it because you're going to want to fall back into the old habits, and the old stories will still come up. But if you just push through and you keep going and you surround yourself with people that want the same thing and that will support you, you will get there. I mean, we have over 500 women in our program. We've got hundreds of testimonials. So it really is up to you, whether or not you're happy to live the rest of your life how you are.
Yeah, well, I mean, statistically speaking, I mean, you're if you're not setting those standards and finding something that's sustainable that you can do for a decent amount of time, it's like 96% failure rate with people dieting, and it's not that people can't lose weight. People lose weight every single day. It's keeping it off in the long run is the statistic. And it's 96%. I mean, we're in an age now, 2019, where information and accessibility to things is so readily available. It's so easy, yet we're the fattest we've ever been. And it's sad because it just shouldn't be the case. But, the reality is, I think we're all so busy, and there's so many things that you can do now. Everyone kind of talks about, it's just like, oh man, life is just passing me by at the moment. Like everything's just so quick, and it's like, fuck, it's nearly the end of the year. It's just like, well, yeah, it's just like things have become more accessible, things have become easier to do, and we can take on more stuff and do more stuff. So our lives are just way busier than what they were 10 years ago and 10 years before that. So everything's just going at a million miles an hour. But that's also the reason why, globally, like we're becoming more and more fucked, because we're focusing on all this wonderful stuff around us. I'm trying to take on so much, and we're forgetting about the most important thing, which is, us, or you as an individual. So,
and it really like, so funny because Craig and I, like, we're like, oh, how do we think about different ways to say the same thing? Because it really is simple. It is simple, but people can't be consistent. You just can't. People can't be consistent. There's all the information out there. It's all out there on blogs. How do you think we found it? And then we tested and measured and developed our system. But it's like, you need people around you to hold you accountable. You need coaching. You need community. If it were that easy, I mean, why isn't everyone in this free group where they want to be? I mean, I see people post all the time. I'm still where I was 12 months ago.
Yeah. You don't get to decide your future. You just get to decide your daily habits, and your habits will ultimately determine your future.
And the choice, every choice you make, set that, put in your head, I want to be this person. This is the person I want to be. What choices would they make every day? Ask yourself. That's what I do every fucking day. I'm like, is this the leader I want to be? Is this the partner I want to be? What choices would they make in this situation? Because it's all those micro choices. It's every choice that you make every single day. It's not overnight that you get fat, that it all falls to shit. It's all these constant bad choices that add up over time. And all of a sudden you're like, fuck, look where I am. But if you start making good choices every day and you start showing up and doing the 1% every day, imagine where you'll be in 12 months' time. Imperfect action. Imperfect action will get you to your goal.
Cool. Good chat.
Have a good Monday night, everyone. We're off to eat our air fried chips. I did a post today on the old DeLonghi air fryer. I'm like, if seriously, save the money up and get one because it is the bomb. And we use ours like every day, don't we, Craig? Even twice a day. Sometimes Craig uses it for his lunch.
Yep.
Yeah, he used it today, and it's totally worth the money. Like if you're going to get a cheap one, just put money away every week and get this one, and it'll last much longer. And it cooks the most amazing chips every time. It's consistent, and we really like consistent, don't we?
Sure do.
Yeah. All right. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks,
and
Tim.
we'll see you next time. Bye.